Danny, you need to have more willpower. You can't be swayed by Jake that easily. He went on a spiel on YouTube. You folded so quickly.
Jake be like, yo, Toronto are pretty good. Danny's like, yeah, okay. Bro, like, come on, Danny. I mean, smart points from Jake, to be fair.
I'm going for Toronto. I agree. Okay. Not because Jake told me. Not because Jake told me to. It's because I believe in his
You're convinced, too. I know you're convinced.
Nah.
Just.
Glads for sure.
Always stay split.
Two British boys. British. That's the only reason why. I have no...
That's why I go for Vancouver every time as well.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. That's pretty fair. We're about to get into our final game of the opening weekend, Scott. Toronto Defiant, the LA Gladiators. My word, yeah. Split desk, split casters, that's fine. More for the bounce, more for the fun, right? And I think a lot of people at home are going to be pretty split too. Both these teams need a win, which is crazy to think because everybody kind of pegged Glads and Toronto Defiant as being kind of superstars coming into this year, but they faced two of the other hardest oppositions that they will face this year in the Shock and the Houston Outlaws. Both they lost to.
And that's the thing you need to keep in mind. Yes, both are looking for their first win, but they were very difficult teams they were playing against. The Gladiators up against the Houston Outlaws, which in this meta might be one of the strongest teams out there. Yep. And the Toronto Defiant, I think they're the team that's kicking themselves more than anyone else. I agree with what Zoe said on the desk. They should have been able to beat San Francisco Shock if they are in the form that they want to be here. So for me, I'm predicting the Toronto Defiant because I think they have more to show than what they did in their first match.
Okay, we'll soon see. Oasis City Center will be our first map and round here in the final game of the opening weekend. It's been crazy, actually. Oh my god. Can't believe we've started the opening week already, you know? It's
good to be back.
Yeah, it's very good to be back and being in a studio too, which is always nice. Now let's see what the Glads want to roll out with. I don't think Ultraviolet's really going to play the Life Weaver. I think that was a one and done for the Mayhem. I don't think they'll be running that again. Unless Life Weaver gets some changes, we'll have to wait and see. But this is what I kind of expected from the Gladiators, though, kind of coming out. Yaki on this Reaper, Dante not on a Winston, but on a Junker Queen. So it feels like we're having a replay of the last series.
We're just changing the names, but we're doing the same thing. And we saw how effective the Junker Queen is against the Winston, and multiple teams have tried to play this. It is interesting to see both teams going with the Reaper, though, but the difference is the consistent damage from the Gladiators with the Soldier just trying to pump it out, while Toronto are going to be relying on an effective dive with that Sombra.
Yeah, everybody casts his worst nightmare now. Lastro and Astro in for the Gladiators.
Can't be worth the Prophet and Prophet that we have to deal with.
Prophet and Prophet, yeah. We really do be having the
hard
craziest teams to cast, yeah, or players to cast. City Center, a classic stall out of City Center. Very, very hard to initially cap because it's so sustainable on the point, especially with the high ground. Dante, yeah, kind of chewing Kalush apart right now. Nice little hack, and that will be Glads taking the point first. And with Sam going down, so much damage is lost. It's a big problem with this kind of composition, Scott. As soon as your Reaper dies, you haven't really got too much more front-loaded damage. And in fact, Sam's going to switch over to the Genji
Hydron's
instead of
caught
sticking
as well.
onto the Reaper.
Yeah, Hydron's caught, might go down. Yeah,
he's
that's a little bit of a stagger, which, you know, every percentage matters because Gladiators capped that at the start of that team fight as well, so they're already up to that 25% mark. But the Toronto Defiant just were unable to find a hack and go, and I think that's probably why you've seen Sam move over to this Genji. You can just go a lot more, and with this composition from the Defiant, they do need to just go. Too much standing around, Kevs is going to pop out damage, and they will find a pick.
Well, luckily, Ultraviolet did a lot of healing in that last fight, so he has got that Kitsune rush. But now so does Lastro. Both rushes coming out almost exactly the same time, but Sam's already dead. A giant axe swing from Dante, again removing one of the main damage sources that Toronto Defiant had. Dante with a perfect execution, and of course Astro trying to chase people to spawn, and they get Kalush on the exit. There will be an EMP available, but oh man, the whole wealth of ultimates for Gladiators now as well.
And Ultraviolet's going to switch over to the Ana, just realizing that maybe he can get more value with that anti-nade, but the one thing that they will miss now is Dante has that Rampage. They will not have the Suzu to cleanse that off, so Dante's ultimate just got that much more effective, so OG Sound Barrier is really going to have to be the piece that's going to keep them alive.
He's squaring up. I just saw Dante there kind of yelling into the mic. He is very much thinking about going in. Everybody's on this corner right now. The axe does miss. The EMP hits 3 members of the backline for the Gladiators. Nice sleep onto Dante. He's going to give them a bit of reprieve from the Junker Queen for the time being. Astro did end up going down, but here goes the Katsu. Well, wait, it just missed? Dante's ult just missed. He goes in, gets naded, and the sound barrier from OG helps them sustain through, well, a little bit of damage coming out from Dante, I suppose. OG with a couple of kills. 99% though for the Glads, as Toronto now only just finding the cap.
Yeah, funny, Astro getting hit by that EMP from Hydron, so they just weren't able to keep Lastro alive, and that really sort of had a snowball effect for the Toronto Defiant. But now we have the infamous Genji Blade, which I feel like is more of a bait than anything these days. But funny, Astro, the value that he has is he has that sound barrier because he did get caught in the last one. So, you know, glass half full kind of perspective.
I mean, Ultraviolet could work well.
Kevster.
Now he definitely can. He can work up towards that Nano, maybe get a Nano Blade going.
That's true, that's important.
Yeah.
A Naked Blade just doesn't do enough these days. There's so many counters, so many things to deal with it. He's going to get Suzu, there's going to be a sound barrier. If anything, I'd actually prefer to see them go in with Sam's Blade and force the sound barrier.
Wow, an early beat. Oh, that was close. Astro almost got hacked out of his beat there, but he's all good. EMP still not available for Hydron. Look at this, Yaki just forcing his way into the backline, making something happen. There's the Blade. The Death Blossom straight on top of him, though. Yeah, deflecting in that room. He didn't do enough damage. There was too much healing from Lastro and Astro, keeping Yaki alive, plus the lifesteal. 99%. That Blade from Sam just being rather blunt, to say the very least. Gladiators with a clean round 1.
Yeah, Gladiators looking very strong against this Winston composition, and this is a question we've had for the Gladiators. You know, Dante obviously performed very well on the Winston in the playoffs last year, but it's definitely still not one of his strengths. They don't want to go into these mirror matchups, so I like them showing different looks where they can, but there are some times where you can't. And that's, as we go onto this map, you can see Dante already locking into the Winston, but Kaluge has different plans and a different idea for this one.
Ooh, little Ryan. Little TP out with Ryan.
We've seen some teams doing this.
Yeah.
I don't love it.
It's tough, because Ryan is pretty hard to get the high ground, and you're thinking the Gladiators, they're going to be pretty quick to the point. They grab height with Winston, and then Kaluge is either having to chase the Gladiators around, or just kind of put himself on point and then look for a May wall to try and kill somebody. They are sticking with Hydron on the Symmetra, though.
Interesting choice, and you know, the first fight is so important for these compositions. If they can get the point, they can anchor almost forever on this point. So you can see the Los Angeles Gladiators are just trying to rotate their backline around, but the TP.
5-man anti, yes please. There will be a lamp to save them, so luckily enough, that didn't do too much damage. Dante does escape with his life, and they find the cap too. So now Toronto Defiant are on the back foot.
Yeah, and that was such a big fight, nade by Lastro, just keeping them in. Another TP to the other side.
Straight to the back. Dante's there to match. There's no lamp available, and Ultraviolet pays for it. Dante pretty low though with Kaluge's pin. Hydron also pretty, like, look at Kevster right now. Kevster's just kind of diving around the team, does manage to clear up Hydron, and without Hydron to TP them around, Astro and Kevster and even Yaki can keep this point alive.
And Kaluge just can't get help. He only had a Lucio from OG trying to keep him alive, and he's just slowly losing shield and health. And the Gladiators had point control that entire time because they were juggling it, as you said, Jack. And Kaluge is going to switch.
Yeah, all right, there's the switch. Hydron 2, away from the Sim, and even Sam, away from the May. Just going back to what they found before. Wow, so, all right, sure. All right, Yaki dies.
I was about to say, that's a lot of switches. They're at a massive disadvantage so far. They're already at 50% and they don't have any ultimates other than this sound barrier. That pick might be a saving grace.
Where's the Primal Rage from Dante? The beat from Toronto Defiant to keep Kaluge in the fight. Astro's nearing his, and Astro even has that nano boost, so a lot of support ultimates available for the Gladiators now, as Toronto Defiant didn't find anything.
They just don't have any other ultimates to follow it through. Gladiators just throwing all their ultimates to keep them alive in this one. That was the Primal Rage, that was the Nano, that was the Pulse Bomb, just everything to keep themselves alive. But the one thing they did retain is the EMP. And now, this is, they might go super early. You can see Yaki wants this.
Yeah. Big EMP.
It's gonna be huge.
There it is. It's gonna be huge. Yeah, Nate to follow up to Collusion Sam. Hack. There's a hack onto OG. Even a beat from the Gladiators, but a return EMP from Hydron ends Dante's life. a perfect re-engage. There just wasn't enough damage quick enough there for the Gladiators to keep themselves in and clear up after that EMP and nade combo.
Didn't feel like Kevster was there. They didn't have that follow-up onto the backline, so then the fight just went too long as we're getting musical chairs with heroes now as Dante goes, you're going to go Winston, I'm going to go the Junker Queen. We saw how good it was in the last map. Feeling very confident in this matchup.
God, Astro is having the worst time against Hydron, I will say. Just perma floor Lucio. There's the Death Blossom. It's doing a lot of damage, but that Suzu saves Lastro for a fraction of a second. Yeah, especially when you're trying to dive on these key targets, and Reaper's just like, well, I can just sit here. Like, there's not really much you can do. He do be vibing, right, with the ultimate. And at the end of the day, as soon as you get that ultimate out, it's great. You can, again, quickly dive the backline. So that's what Glads are going to have to do. Kevster with a pulse. Maybe it's big. Maybe sticking it on OG would be perfect. Kaluj is a nice target too, but he's got the primal to back him up. Fortunately, they did capture the point, so they didn't lose too much percentage for this, and they're going to need that because, once again, now the Gladiators are the ones without any ultimates. Dante's trying to step forward, but gets instantly hacked and really unable to find anything right now. That's such a good knife. Nice knife. Oh, Kaluj, though, he do be hitting that primal rage. Pulse bomb available. Sam's in Kevster's sights. That tracking looking so clean. Actually forces the Wraith for easy pulse bomb opportunity. Oh, wait, what? Wait, did he just... Maybe he just got Suzu and the pulse bomb went through. I'm not sure what happened there, but the pulse bomb didn't land. That is what I do know. Sound barrier from OG keeps Toronto competitive here, and Yaki with the pulse blossom. He's looking for it. Sam's right in his sights. Even gets Suzu to keep him alive there. And EMP's going to ring true, but only hit 2. Yaki and Dante get hacked, and actually it's going to make this fight fairly even. Ultraviolet with the rush on the point does mean now it's last fight for Toronto Defiant to take this map. Hydron is the silent hero right now for the Defiant. He's not really showing up too much in the kill feed, but 2 enormous EMPs to pull the Toronto Defiant back into teamfights, but no ultimates for the Defiant for this final teamfight. Big Dante ult coming up though, but it's going to be hard to lock people down. Plus, Ultraviolet can TP, Suzu, cleanse that anti-heal. Dante with the ult does hit Kaluj, and in fact, no Suzu available, ends up going down. They do trade him for Astro, so no sound barrier now available for the Gladiators. However, they still have that pulse bomb in Kevster's back pocket. 99% is the Gladiators actually might find the flip here. They do get the flip, and Kevster is just lurking with this pulse bomb. He's ready for it. Sam's already blown that Wraith form. He's got that ult, but no touches. No touches. The Gladiators managed to take that one pretty sharp there. Toronto Defiant, you could see potentially how they were positioning. Sam had to get back. He knew he had Death Blossom coming up, but forcing the Wraith and Kevster hot on his tail meant he couldn't touch the point, and that will be the map over to the Glads. Oh, I would like to have seen the chat. I feel like there might have been a couple of C9s from the Gladiators. They love to do that one. Hunter in there real fast. You know Hunter's just spamming. Glad's Coach 3 is about to add into chat. The LA Gladiators and the Toronto Defiant on a knife's edge. Could have gone either way for a lot of these fights, but right now it feels like the Gladiators have that edge when they're playing this Junker Queen setup into the Winston. Oh, yeah, Dante, who is playing a lot of Doomfist, obviously, last year. He did transition to tank. Ooh. But his tank plays, especially these off tanks, these, I wouldn't say like traditional tanks. When you think of tanks like Ryan Winston, like main tanks, his Junker Queen, his Doomfist looks so good, and they're really picking it up. They didn't want to go down to the Outlaws last week. Like, this is a team you expect a lot of things from, and they're proving it here right now. But Toronto Defiant, they're not a team to be sniffed at. Yeah. Absolutely, and we got Kings Road coming up next. Make sure to stick around. We'll be back after this break.
play tactics widely dealt
in a 4v5. Oh, not quite so much anymore. Kevster dishing out the damage.
But this is giving me vibes of Florida against the Atlanta Rain.
What? That is dirty.
A rough return here, just kind of getting bullied.
Oh,
Yep, that was a good shot.
Oh, little wave hello, maybe goodbye to the rest of your team, Decay, because Lastro's on the field. Nano Zen just to keep him alive.
Rolling, trying to keep everybody alive. And Hydron, oh boy, punched into oncoming traffic. Dante shuts him down.
Oh yeah, the Gladiators, they're up a map already. Scott, as we jump into the second one of the day, Kings Row. Toronto Defiant are down one. A couple of substitutions here and there, though.
Yeah, we're getting some substitutions coming in. We have Babel coming in for the Los Angeles Gladiators and Speedily on the other side. And, you know, Jake sort of hit on it a little bit. Speedily's trying to become one of the best tracers in the world. He said that in an interview after one of his matches on the Pro-Am, but it's very difficult to become the best tracer in the world when the other guy in the server is one of the best tracers in the world. We will get this matchup. Kings Row is a map we should see some tracer, but it will not be as fast-paced as we saw on Oasis.
Yeah. Control, much more of a fast-paced game mode. Very little time to reset, go back, change your comp. We saw it a few times, people changing comps like halfway through, and Control's such a weird one, because if you do end up swapping comps, like lose the first fight, you're just on the back foot like constantly. You have to like get back in it, you have to make plays. It can be quite tough. Kings Row and Hybrid is a game mode, very different in that sense. And I want to see if Speedly and Kevshot are going to run out on this. If he wants to be in the best of the world, he's got to. If he wants to mess with the best, he's got to. Well, he might just die like the rest, that's for sure. Like with Kevster being at the level he's at, it feels like there's nothing stopping him just every year, like every month, like every tournament, every whatever, right? Just increasing that bar. He just seems to get better and better and better. Can Speedly catch him?
Kevster was the sole, I'm not going to say sole, he was one of the primary reasons the Gladiators even made it to the Grand Finals in the Pro-Am. His ability to just find value as an individual is just next level. But the one thing for the Gladiators that I think is really strong for them right now is this Lastro and Babel Ana Kiriko setup. Babel is an aggressive player, very mechanically skilled in the flex support setup. That's something that you should keep your eye on, because Lastro and Babel is nothing to scoff at.
Oh yeah, Babel's really shown up. It's crazy as well, because when I say Babel's name, I'm like, you know, it's like, well, I've crossed that guy before somewhere, you know?
Yeah.
But he was on London Spitfire in 2020 with their giant roster. And
all rookies.
Yeah, all rookies. That team all came from like Gen G S, Gen G A, Gen G B.
Yeah.
And like a lot of these, I think one team, I feel like one of the players is from Going Water S, which is like...
It's a deep cut.
Dude, that logo is one of the greatest logos in like Open Division Trials history, Going Water S. I think me and Seth ended up like kind of half casting one of their games. It was, I don't know, it was a long time ago, but it was, it's interesting because you're like, oh, Babel, a rookie, right? Technically, no.
Yeah.
He has been in 2020. He was here in London Spitfire in 2020, which is crazy to think about, because he was a little bit invisible, but that could have just been a symptom of like how the team was built and like what was happening at the team at the time. But now he's come in and it's like, whoa, okay, Babel's kind of nasty. Like, he fits in this team very well, and being able to swap out Astro when you need him and having a double flex is, oh, it's great. The Gladiators are really starting this year off on the strong foot.
Yeah, they're just a very strong roster, but the tip of the spear is Dante, and you know, we've hyped him up so much. He has never disappointed us, and here's Dante with his Junker Queen stats. 12 eliminations, 3 deaths, but it's not, for Junker Queen, it's not always about the kills and getting all that value. It's about being that anchor in the front line and just making yourself a threat and trying to make the enemy Winston's life absolute hell. And we saw how impactful his rampage was at the very end when he took down Kalush.
Yeah, forcing cooldowns early from Kiriko is a fight winner. You force that Suzu, it's like, yeah, that's free.
Yeah.
It's so free to hit that rampage. Yeah, we've seen a few whiffed ones, but even if you get one person, the focus fire is just too good at this level that you're gonna die very quickly. And you saw Dante do just that, hit that big rampage on Kaluge. Looking pretty good so far. I would like to see a little bit from Doomfist. I don't think Doomfist is going to be played a whole bunch, but maybe later on in the season, maybe if Doomfist receives a few changes, but yeah, no, his Jack of Blade accuracy too, worth keeping in mind. Also an extremely strong, like powerful ability that can reposition someone that doesn't necessarily want to be repositioned, and comboed with the axe, for a low health target, you're dead.
I'm actually very interested to see what Johnny said as well about the Junkertown, because Kaluge is a self-proclaimed best Sigma in the world, which is a bold claim, but it's actually something that we've seen in the Team USA World Cup trials, that something that Dante isn't as proficient at, and that could be a weakness that the Toronto Defiant is going to be able to sort of get over Dante. But this is honestly such a cool roster on the Toronto Defiant.
Yeah.
Like, they have such a deep bench as well. They have Sir Marjed, who can come in to play that double flex support if they want to do that themselves. Speedily's Trace is mightily impressive, and Sam is just a very flexible player and just someone you really want to have on your roster.
Yeah, it's like old brothers united under a different banner as well, which is crazy because a lot of these players have played together in almost a full team before.
Yeah.
So it's awesome to see Toronto Defiant go in this direction of their roster. I love it. It's a really nice thing to see. And with Speedly coming in last year, he wasn't invisible, but he didn't really live up to that like big, like,
hype,
wow, this guy is going to absolutely tear through the league. But the last few times you've seen him, it's like, okay, you know there's something there. You know he can reach those high heights, and it's cool to see him say in the interview that, look, I want to be the best in the world. Like, I have that drive, and I'm going to take someone down. And like, Kevster is that guy to take down. Can he do that on King's Row? Unfortunately, there are a few technical issues right now, so we're going to jump to a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We've got King's Row after this.
gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the. Wake up, get out the sheets. We came for war, man, forget my peace. You take the west, I'll take on the east. I'ma put them in a cage, never let out the. I hear them shots in the noise. Can't stop for the talking. Hot like fire on the pine. If you wanna touch me, I'm please caution.
God, that is so clean. Toronto Defiant continue to have some of the best videos, like hype videos around. Like, god damn, that is sick. I love that kind of stuff, like real gamer moment. Like, you're not just
gamer moment,
not just folding your arms,
yeah.
like gamer photo shoot moment. You know, like it's just like I don't know. It feels cool. It looks cool. It hypes up the team, right? Like, yeah, it's
it really embodies the team.
It's pretty sick,
right?
It
That's
does,
what I
yeah,
think is cool.
It does.
And, you know, highlight these players, you know, the personalities that they have. But as we go on to Kings Row, we get to see the signature Speedily Echo, which has been hyped up by these guys so much, and they actually play it a lot more than pretty much any other team currently in the league.
Yeah, his Echo was said to be Thing of Legends in contenders. See what he can do here. Oh, Dante just diving into a world of hurt. Wow, he died pretty fast, especially with that Echo Beam too. You've got to be really careful. Like, if your supports can't keep you healthy, that extra damage from being under 50% HP is a quick death. That is for sure. Nice sticky bombs too. That might just be the first cap.
I think they're going to try and get another recontest. Dante's going to need to be careful. I don't think he's going to be the one who's able to touch. He is going on to that. They do get Ultraviolet and OG, so the backline from Defiant is down.
Selfish Suzu there from Babel, but it's all good. Babel does stay alive. And yeah, Yaki and Kevster that whole time just set up, waiting for Dante, get the retouch, and then go for the backline.
Just smart-tempered play. And you can see how Babel wants to play this Kiriko, and we've seen this consistently from a lot of different teams, where it's like, he just plays aggressively, goes into the backline, because he can swift step at any moment back to his support. So it's just an added threat for the dive as well.
They've got to be careful though, because they've only got one tick to go. Astro with a big nade. Big nade. Yo, no, I missed. All good. From pretty far away. Actually gives up the high ground though. Maybe a little bit too scared over the next dive for Toronto Defiant. Dante super low. Had to use that nade to try and keep the both alive, but no, the Speedly's accuracy on the beam does take him out. However, Kevster and Yaki, well, they're doing Kevster and Yaki things again in the backline. It's like Toronto Defiant, they end up just jumping in, and Dante's, well, Kalush's like, whoa, where's my team gone?
Yeah.
What's going on?
And that is the effective dive that the Gladiators have been known for. And when you have Kevster just being able to run around in the backline and get those kinds of sticks, it's hard to deal with if you are the Defiant. Ultimate's coming up now. We haven't really seen much effectiveness from this Echo. As much as it's able to get that initial dive and that initial pick, it doesn't feel like they're able to follow through with that afterwards.
Well, there's the rush from the backline. Babel using that super early, actually, to stop Kalush doing much.
Good sleep.
Good sleep. We'll wake up in just a moment. EMP's pretty good. Hits both DPS and OG. OG ends up getting Nano to keep himself up, but Dante with a Primal Rage, showing that he can play a lot more than just the Doomfish and JQ. Woken up pretty quickly, and now Speedily is going to be the target. He has got Duplicate, and the rally is going off for Toronto, so they're going to make a quick re-engage here against the Oasis Gladiators. A clone on the Tracer. Oh, he's just chasing Kevster down. Kevster gets the Mega Health Pack, though, and Speedly, while he earns himself a Pulse Bomb, can't go in again. Bubble stick for Speedly, in fact, almost ends up ending his own life there. Can he get another Pulse Bomb? Not looking like it, but still, space created and the point unlocked.
I was getting Yaki Tracer, Yaki Echo, Duplicate, Triple Shatter flashbacks on Kings Road just there. You know, Jake yelling into the void, but the Gladiators just ran out of fuel. They didn't have enough ultimates to be able to contest it. As soon as that rally comes out from OG, the Gladiators just accepting that it is over. We will see Speedily switch over to the Tracer, Sam on that Sombra as well. Yaki also coming up to the EMP, so this might be a double EMP fight coming up, Jack.
Might be.
Dante's gonna stay alive, though.
Yeah. Oh, no, the heals. Oh, I thought that kunai might have cost Dante his life there. It's actually Kevster that goes down first for the Gladiators. Are they going to still try and make something of this? They do have Yaki nanoed into the front. Look, he do be walking at them. No, he do be walking, and that's it. I mean, Toronto just back out.
I don't think that was intentional. I think it was meant for Dante, and then Yaki just said, yoink, that's going to be mine. He does have the EMP, but the Gladiators are going to bend back just a little bit, get into a better position.
Oh, that's a nice Transicator spot. Behind the chair in the bar area.
Hard to find.
Good luck spotting that one. EMP, boom, there it is, hits 4. There's the nano though, instantly again onto OG to keep him in this fight, and Toronto can bite back. A big anti-grenade though from Lastro. Can Toronto Defiant sustain through it? It looks like it, and OG can just start swinging away. The EMP in the small room from Sam is ginormous. Dante and Kevster just desperately trying to follow up on that anti-nade. But Toronto Defiant very much tempered, pacing themselves extremely well there.
Yeah, Kaluj does go aggressive and get slept, but is able to get away without using the Primal. But the Gladiators are going to come back, and Dante with that Primal and almost a nano up from Lastro. This should be a pretty even fight.
Whoa. Hey. Gonna check Barbell for a second. Oh, actually used the Suzu on himself. So at least that's one big cooldown out. Rally on the point for the Toronto Defiant. Everybody's a little bit harder to take down. Oh, Kaluj! Sub 100 HP, eventually finished off. And with 1 minute and 20 seconds to go, this is a good spot for the Gladiators to hold down. They are trading, but their spawn is a little bit closer than the Toronto Defiant here, Scott.
Yeah, Sam is coming up to this EMP. They're just trying to keep this fight going until Sam can get that one. Dante knows that's coming.
Nade.
Beautiful nade. Dante with the follow-up, and that should get them the backline, but speedily does diff Kevster, showing that Tracer prowess.
Yeah, they got that nano as well, so Kaluj is very happy to just dive straight back in, and with Barbell dead and 0.9 meters to go, the nano will end this fight and cap the point for the Toronto Defiant.
Such a big win by speedily getting Kevster down. That really forced everything to come through, and Sam was able to hold on to that EMP, so once again, double EMP fight. In the last time we saw this, the Gladiators just getting overconfident with their own. They got an advantage, but weren't prepared for the counter coming back from Sam. See how they adjust their playstyle.
He's sent out for an EMP. Just pinging out OG. EMP, boom, only hits one.
The reverse EMP though.
That was a very quick kill. Oh, OG didn't know what to hit him. Anti-nade and an EMP, I'll tell you that right now. Kevster does get traded though, like you said. And Gladiators, even though they take down a support, they're not willing to kind of step up right now, just wait for the payload to move just a little bit more. Ultraviolet hacked as Yaki and Dante try and find some kills. Nicely timed Suzu from Balo keeps him alive.
Yeah. That should trigger a reset. There's only 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining here for the Toronto Defiant on attack. They have no ultimate, so they're going to play slow. Just sort of start poking, try and get some of these ultimates up. But unfortunately, they don't have the ability to go aggressive. Our Gladiator is going to be the one that up the tempo. Nano onto Dante, the answer is yes.
The answer is yes. Oh, Babo gets back. Oh my word, he just met his death. TP straight to Lastro, who he thought potentially was safe, but Speedy and Sam were already there, knocking on the door. There's 50 seconds to go. There's a lot of ults on the table for the Gladiators to get this retouch.
Lastro goes over to the Lucio for desperation. The Kitsune rush is out.
Rush on the point. Hack on Kevster didn't land. He hit the recall before it ended up going off, and Yaki gets anti and ends up getting killed. Kalu's pretty low after the pulse bomb from Kevster, forced to back away to the rest of his team. And without a nano, Toronto Defiant having to rely on that rally to push back in again. A speedily pulse now could be the difference maker that they need, and Dante is just getting absolutely destroyed in the front line. A bash asleep, everything thrown at him to remove him. That overhealth building up for OG as the Toronto Defiant are going to be able to make this one work. No pulse bomb really needed there from Speedly, not even the EMP. The Gladiators, they will end up losing that third point. And with 8 seconds left in the bank, not too bad from Toronto there.
We highlighted it coming into the map. Tracer versus Tracer, Speedily versus Kevster. Speedily is currently 9 final blows, 2 deaths, to Kevster's 3 final blows and 5 deaths.
Diffin.
Kevster's getting the worst end of this Tracer stick right now, and honestly, Speedily has been that difference maker. Even though they're trading blows and backlines, it's Speedily who's just staying alive and keeping the force going.
My word. Not those were on the Echo, though, worth caveating that just a little bit.
Yeah.
But still, his Tracer at the very end did help them win it. Help them win the point, at least, not the map, of course.
They finished with time, though. That 8.5 seconds is important on Hybrid. That could mean if the Gladiators do end up capping, they will have more time to go again.
A little couple of seconds, it does help. It does go a long way, so any time is a nice time. Have a look at a small replay, though. Oh, Speedly's 2k at the very end here. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even need a pulse, which is crazy. Dante! My word, he didn't really have a chance in that Primal Rage, you're going in, you're not even looking for damage at that point either. Huge pulse. Massive.
If Kevster had blinked into that, he would have looked like a genius.
He would look like a god.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. It's always worth attempting to look like a god, and if you don't, it's like, oh, you know, it was just a funny one.
Just hope no one notices. I don't think anyone noticed until we highlighted. The observers are like, yo, watch this.
Yeah, watch this floor pulse after the 2K.
Kevster coming out on the Echo this time. Maybe liking the pick. We know Kevster's obviously great at this hero as well. Maybe just for the first point.
Yeah, I'm curious. Of course, they have a lot of Tracer players on their roster too. Of course, Yaki's on the Tracer now. Oh, Kevster got bashed mid-air and slept mid-air, but woken in mid-air as well. So all good. Kevster's alive.
Still in mid-air.
And still in mid-air. He's fine. He's fine. He's just chilling. Toronto Defiant backing up though. Good nade.
Lastro.
Lastro's nades have been stupendous. Ultraviolet just punished for even taking an inch of space by the looks of it. Dante sled to the back. There's a bubble in his way, but he is going to be able to get healed as he puts down the bubble of his own. And Kevster and Yaki just providing a little bit of distraction there, making sure Dante stays alive and capping the point very quickly too. 5 minutes to the time bank. Not bad.
Yeah, it was a great Suzu by Babel, just keeping Dante alive. If he had fallen, who knows what could have happened. Kevster heading back to the point. I don't think he's going to switch. Yeah, he's planning on staying in this one.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get copy, you'd imagine, like halfway through the fight maybe, depending on how much damage you do. So, worth saying, double Winston dive. Like, hey.
Going back to the old days, 2016.
Oh, God. Double Winston, double Lucio. Woo!
So we go into this next fight. Nano up for Ultraviolet, but Gladiators are going to be the ones to use it first. Dante's into the backline, zapping them up, but the backline's able to stay alive.
Yep, Dante with the Nano. Now Kevster and Speedly and Yaki with a pulse off. Who can get the better pulse? Might not matter with Kevster going down. Yeah, just a quick... Oh, wait! You just wait a second. They just TP right in front of him. Good sleep by Lastro, though. It stops that Nano Primal Rage from doing too much, at least, but he has been found once again. Perfect follow-up from Speedly and Kalush, taking down the Ana, and now Dante. This takes down OG, but can he get anything more? Look at the health bars from Gladiators right now. They are dwindling. And in fact, without much healing at all, it looks like Gladiators will come back alive. And, well, Bubble going down super early, just TP straight back in so fast to get back to the point, was able to provide that sustain.
Yeah, that closer spawn definitely coming in clutch for the Gladiators, but that was an expensive fight for the Defiant. They used the Primal, the Rally, the Nano Boost. They don't have that engage tool other than this EMP, and this is a blistering time right now for the Gladiators, so Sam does need to find a big one here. But the Kitsune Rush from Babel is going to make it very difficult to clean up.
There's the Kitsune Rush from the Gladiators. Perfect point to use it on too. EMP's pretty good though. Yaki, Dante, Babel hacked. Yaki looking for some extra damage in the backline, and now Ultraviolet is in his sights. Ultraviolet health bar just going oh so low. A copy on the Winston. Kevster, let's see a Primal Rage mechanics if he can build one up. Looks like he's going to be able to with that jump on to Ultraviolet. He's got one. Can he get more? A little juggle in mid-air. Yeah, he's got Tracer mechanics. He's got Winston mechanics. What doesn't this guy have? No, but the Gladiators capping that second point. 4.5 minutes in the time bank. Oh my word. This is going to be an upwards hill battle for Toronto on this defense and no ult.
And the Gladiators capped that early in that team fight, so they're already halfway through this third point. This should stem the bleeding. The kill onto Yaki should slow everything down for the Gladiators, even if just for a little bit. But speedily, not happy that Kevster's finding value on this Echo, decides to go there as well.
Yeah, I like it, man. Oh, good hack. All right, just hit him with the 1v1. All right, feels good. Nano Boost, Primal Rage for the Gladiators versus the Nano Boost and maybe the Rally Primal for Toronto Defiant in this next fight. But Gladiators here, they can take their time just a little bit. They don't need to worry too much. Oh, nice boot.
Nice boot, nice boot. And then you can see the Gladiators trying to find ways into this fight. Dante's getting incredibly low. He has to pop the Primal Rage with that focusing beam on top of
it. A Nano onto Kevster, 2 onto that Echo. Speedly gets a Nano with zone. Look at this Primal from Dante. Just being a menace in the back line. Has to get back to the rest of his team. After being hacked, you do take that extra damage, so you have to be careful. And now with Kalush jumping forwards, you know he's got Primal if he's staying in for that long. He does end up getting anti-nated, but once again, split fight for the Gladiators as Kalush is trying to push Lashner and Babel back. An EMP lands onto Dante and Kevster, who ends up paying for it. Ultra Ultraviolet is traded, so Gladiators probably want to fight this.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Oh, now it's bad.
Now it's bad.
Now it's not good. With Kevster going down, that's going to force them all go back. Trying to save the backline a little bit, but some important kills coming out late for the Toronto Defiant as all of a sudden the time's starting to dwindle. 3 minutes remaining here for the Gladiators on their attack. And honestly, I have to give a massive shout out to both backlines, doing such a good job of deflecting these Winstons. Neither of them have been able to find too much value with the Nano and the Primal.
Well, there's the rush as OG pops the rally almost instantly. Not enough to keep the backline alive there,
Traded.
but Yaki and Kevster putting their names on the board, and a duplication available from Kevster in just a moment. Sam is playing in this little back room here, but has forced to teleport back to his spawn, and Kaluj, the only one on the point for the Defiant right now, so it is up to the rest to maybe get back in time. And, well, there's none of it. There's no time at all. Speedly even had dupe there too. I mean, that was a rough finishing. They managed to kill off the Ana on the Gladiators side, but Toronto Defiant, it felt like, well, their DPS are preoccupied by killing the Ana. The rest of the team is just getting torn apart, and Toronto weren't able to keep Ultraviolet and OG alive long enough.
Fortunately for the Toronto Defiant, though, with 8.5 seconds that we talked about earlier, that comes in clutch. They will get another opportunity. As much as Gladiators, they got 3 minutes, which is much nicer than having 1 minute. We've seen throughout the history of Overwatch that King's Row is a massive overtime stall fight. If you're the Defiant, you have to be optimistic that you can get through here. Are they going to decide to stick with this speedily Echo? Because it's worked somewhat, and it worked better for Kevster, but it wasn't that good on their offense throughout the entire map. And you need to think about the entire map if you are going to pick this Echo.
We'll see what they want to roll out with, that being the Gladiators. I really like the Kiriko Ana backline still.
Yeah.
It's really nice. Barbo can play, and like he has been, off and off angle, just kind of poking away, maybe getting a couple of headshots here and there. And sometimes a headshot on a low HP target, that's a go button, right? Dante goes in, Kevster, Yaki, just jump on in to try and finish up that kill. And then if he needs to, just TPs back to Lastro, hits the Suzu, and you're good to go.
He's doing 5,000 damage per 10 minutes right now. That's how much damage he's putting out as a support character on the Kiriko, while also keeping Lastro alive, right? That's the value of the Kiriko. Plus the Suzu, of course, which is just such a strong ability.
Oh, a little wraparound here from Toronto Defiant, but another large anti. Lastro just on fire. A return anti from Ultraviolet, but that Bionic Grenade kill will only serve for one. This guy's just a menace on the high ground.
Yeah, and how many times have we seen Lastro just win team fights with some of these nades? Feels like the Defiant haven't been able to deal with it. Speedily will switch over to the Tracer, probably in this desperation final team fight. But it's a no ultimate fight, and they're going to have to find a way to deal with Lastro on this high ground once again. Well, just trying to put pressure out.
Yeah, they're trying to put pressure on him right there. You called it, you saw it. But Lastro just a little rotation. Yaki, hack onto OG. Nice nade, though, from Ultraviolet. Does keep OG alive. But now, with overtime in session, there is 30+% on the board, so at least they get a tick. So it is winnable. It is very winnable. But another big nade and another hack. OG is dead. Ultraviolet's got nothing left. He's got that sleep, but he hasn't got a sleep for Kevster or Yaki, who will probably be chasing him right now. Kevster's even got a pulse. There's the kill that you wanted to see. And with overtime ticking and no heals on the board, it is Toronto Defiant trying to find a miracle, but that miracle is not going to come.
Yeah, Ultraviolet tries to live as long as he can, but honestly, OG's just having a bad time with all the hacks. You can tell he's the primary target that the Gladiators want to go for. And with Yaki just lurking, consistently giving them information, consistently getting those hacks, if Lastro follows with that nade, there's nothing that they can do. As you said, Jack, they got to tick 55%, which is nice, but that should be a hard thing to hold against the Gladiators, which have 3 minutes.
Yeah. Ooh. It is winnable. We've seen crazier things.
We have seen
Kings.
crazier things.
But
yeah, I was waiting for it.
3 minutes is a lot of time to get, what, just over half of the point capped. They're walking on a knife's edge right now. All good, though. All good. You just got to stop Lastro from getting these nades off. Because that has been, you said it, it's been pivotal to winning some of these team fights. And you can't just win a team fight on your own as an Ana. Like, this is the carry potential of this hero. You smash a nade on the backline just like this. And you see OG there as well. He wasn't like in front of the team either, so maybe he could have blocked the nade, but you're either using your bubble or your shield or some sort of even a Suzu to try and cleanse the nade. You need someone to block it. You're getting free nades like that. It's free for the rest of your team to clean up. Like, it's kind of dirty.
We could see the same thing from the other side. Ultraviolet has been a menace on this Ana, especially in the Prime, just a very skilled Ana player themselves. So it's not impossible, and maybe that's one of the reasons we are seeing this Echo pick here, is it allows you to pressure that window. If the Ana starts hard scoping in a window and you get the sticky bombs, they can go down.
Yeah, they're going back to the Echo Tracer on the offense. Oh, Sam is just, he do be chilling. Oh, nice blink.
Nice
Actually
break.
cut off LOS there from Sam's hack, so very heads-up play from Yucky. Forces him all the way back, forces the recall, the translocator, so you know that Sombra's not going to be in the fight for a little bit there. Oh, Speedly also forced a recall. That's not good. Their DPS is going to be out of position now.
Yeah, and the Gladiators are just taking inch by inch. They have the time. They're not the ones who need to rush into this.
Oh,
there it is.
What a dive by Kevster and Dante. That should just be it. There's no real heals left. OG has been chased away. There's no ultimates. It hasn't been long enough. The Gladiators are going to take King's Row. Match point against Toronto Defiant. Looking clean with it. I mean, both these teams want their first win of the spring stage. And with this game coming in, we knew it was going to be close. The desk was pretty split. Danny got convinced to switch over. Maybe he's regretting some of that now.
Yeah. I'd love to be in the green room with Jake and Danny right now. Maybe have some choice words.
Sold him a faulty product. I don't know. Toronto Defiant, though, we'll talk about them real quick before we jump to this break. There are amazing bright spots here for this team. This was going to be a hard matchup. They lost to the San Francisco Shock a couple
Map 5.
Map 5, yeah, the other week. And Speedly and Sam have both been showing up too. And I think this team has a lot to say when it comes into this season. They've got a lot to prove, but they've got the talent on their roster. And with this situation right now, you just got to also keep your heads in the game. Yes, you're down 2 maps, but it is possible to come back. There've been some very close fights, some very close engagements, and some very close rounds on Control too.
Different map coming up, Junkertown. Johnny talked about it in the pre-show. You gotta sit here. Toronto Defiant, reverse sweep starts now. Don't go anywhere.
Funny Astro.
That is the delay tactics widely dealt
In a 4v5, oh, not quite so much anymore. Kevster dishing out the damage.
This is giving me vibes of Florida against the Atlanta Rain.
What? That is dirty.
A rough return here, just kind of getting bullied. Yep, that was a good shot.
Oh, wave hello, maybe goodbye to the rest of your team, Decay, because Lastro's on the field. Nano Zen just to keep him alive.
Rolling, trying to keep everybody alive. And Hydron, oh boy, punched into oncoming traffic. Dante shuts him down.
That's right, it's match points for the Gladiators as we go into map number 3. We're going to Junkertown. There is a sub for Toronto Defiant. It's going to be Hydron in, Sam out.
Makes sense. Hydron is the hit scan player for the Toronto Defiant. Very solid. He's actually quite flexible as well. Can play that Tracer, can play that Sombra, but I expect to see him come out, play that Widowmaker. And interestingly enough, on the other hand, the Gladiators did not sub in Kai, who is their own hit scan player, which Jake was excited to see them go toe-to-toe, but the Gladiators thinking differently of it, and we've actually seen a lot of teams going that direction on Junkertown, not playing that Sigma sniper style and trying to up the tempo with the Winston still.
Yeah, that is very curious. Kai, of course, even in the SOT there, the little video before we jumped in, Kai's Widowmaker is just crazy. Definitely his best hero, so having him not in for Junkertown's a bit odd, but it might not be so odd when we see the comp. We'll be glad attacking first. Toronto on the defense.
Toronto Defiant with their backs against the wall. And it feels like the San Francisco Shock game when they lost as well. It's like, it's just the little things that are going by the wayside that they're just losing the maps that they could be winning. They're such a strong team and a completely rebuilt team to what we know the Toronto Defiant as, but if they lose another map, they go 0-2 in the opening weekend. 2 tough matches, but that's a hard start for a season.
It's very rough. Yeah, but that's the one thing. You can't let it get to your mental, right, at the end of the day. It's like you go down your rank games, you're like, okay, yeah, you just got to go again. You just got to not think about the last game you just played. Just go in. Hope that you learn something in the last one, then go to the next one. And Toronto Defiant hoping to make this a map number 5. Turnaround starts here. Kev on the Widow, though.
He is a good hit scan player. I wouldn't say as good as Kai, but he can definitely pull it out, but this is probably just taking a shot. And with Dante walking out of spawn with Winston, I expect Kevster to go over to that Tracer.
Oh, that is
he's baiting him out. Come back late
cheeky
with the Widow.
I wonder. Standing still is a bit, I was going to say...
Questionable decision as a Widowmaker.
Yeah, and he already uses grapple too, so he's not going for any crazy shot. There's a little banister right next to him he can stand on to look onto that high ground if no one's destroyed it, but...
It feels like OG's seen this one coming as well. He's come out on the brig, recognizing that they're probably going to need to play defensively against this Sombra, and Kevster coming out of spawn, staying on this Widowmaker is an interesting choice. It's a hero he's not really known for.
Well, Hydron and Kevster have not really had the duel that you'd like them to right now. Hydron and Kev have been kind of looking elsewhere, trying to keep themselves alive, but that was very close. A very, I'd say, greedy jump up there. Half HP against a Widow. Just a quick tap to the head would have ended Babble's life, but all good. Still alive.
And Kevster's just getting hacked on cooldown by Speedo.
It's so frustrated, man. Like, you can't even pay attention. The other Widow is so free, even if you just kind of exist next to the enemy Widow. Nice jump. Hydron thinks better of re-peeking, but ooh, no. Very conservative Widow play right now.
Yeah, just very, very slow. There's a dive composition from the Gladiators, but it feels like we haven't seen a dive. First one comes through. Lastro hits another big nade, and Dante with the follow-through.
Yeah, Lastro is going crazy. Just that one ability to win these fights. First Widow and Widow kill. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting.
Might be waiting for a while here, Jack.
Maybe. I mean, dude, look at this positioning right now.
The Gladiators are in control.
He's in the back line. Oh, Hydron, that would have been so sick. Got him.
I'd go see.
All right, okay. Much more of a free game now for Kevster. And a nano hold W for Dante. Yeah, nothing you can do, Ultraviolet. Not even a lamp will save you. Now with point A unlocked for Glads. Although meanwhile too, I mean, they didn't really use anything. Nano boost, Now they have EMP, now they have the Primal Rage. You can EMP or even hack Kaluj out of this Flux, so that's going to be hard to even use.
Dude, trying to use a Flux against a Sombra these days is just the worst thing ever. You can get bashed, you can get rocked. Yeah, there's so many things that are just hard to deal with as a Sigma right now.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even have to be unstealth to hack anymore.
Yeah,
So-
you just beep, beep, beep.
Boop, 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 boop. Exactly, and not interrupting that. Rather frustrating.
Yaki looks like he's setting up for the dive. You can see him pinging, communicating to his team, trying to sync up with Dante.
Oh, nice patience by Yaki. They're all three of them right next to him. EMP, though, from both sides. 2 hacks on either side, but Toronto Defiant supports instantly deleted. There's the Flux from Kaluj. It does hit one, I think, but no. Okay, doesn't matter how many he got because he got hacked. Very unlucky. Kevster with the sights now reveals everybody, including the stealthy Sombra. And with Barbel and Dante kind of holding down the point right now, just forcing Kaluj onto this mega health pack room. A decent save attempt there from Hydron, but he ain't got any heals, right? Like, it's pretty much all over. With 3 minutes to go, it looks pretty unlikely that Toronto Defiant are able to recontest here. Maybe we can get Speedly and Hydron to touch. They got Rally coming up. They need to turn.
Oh, there's a good sleep onto Speedily, and then executed by Kevster, and that's going to make it even more difficult for Toronto to re-enter into that. They are committing the rally, Jack.
They are indeed. Pulse Bomb goes wide. The rally is coming out. Toronto Defiant in a 4-on-5. With that rally on the point. Oh, nice headshot spawn, Kev. Can they kill Kaluj? No, puts the bubble down, so he has no chance of lining up a shot. But with that bubble dead, Kaluj is left out to dry. Ultraviolet and OG forced to keep him alive. And there's a nano boost on Kaluj, and he's trying to kill him. Hydron's trying to kill Kev, but it's not happening right now. Dante ends up getting slept on the point and bashed, but he puts the bubble down. But the Suzu in to save him. But Hydron, okay, now he's cleaning up. 0.75 meters to go. Toronto Defiant will hold on.
And that's a massive thing, and probably one of the reasons that you see Kevster in over Kai, which is the value that Hydron brings, is he's a great Widowmaker player, but his Tracer is also one of the better ones on this team, so he can make that switch, move over to the dive, and Kevster's going to do the same thing. Coming up clutch for Hydron, keeping the Toronto Defiant in this map.
Oh, Translocator got destroyed there, I think, by Speedly. So he deleted his own Translocator, probably because maybe he thought Yaki found him. Oh my God. Yeah, EMPs. And Kunais too. Ultraviolet and Hydron are dead. This push looking rather easy now for the Gladiators. Oh, he doesn't care about leaving him sleeping. I mean, Dante versus the rest of the team, there's no amount of damage you can really do with that Primal. Ain't happening, unfortunately. Oh, no, good, decent time. 2 minutes and 45 seconds going into last of Junkertown. And getting staggers. I mean, and getting hacks on the mega health pack and all the other health packs.
Babel is an absolute menace right now.
Yeah,
he's got 4 final blows, and he's just putting out that much pressure, and that's the difference between the Brig. The Brig has more protection for the Ana in terms of just directly keeping them alive, but there's more upside of the Kiriko. We saw a lot of teams playing this style early on, but a lot of other teams have moved away from it and really conformed to playing that Brig. But you can see the difference between these two compositions right now just on that Kiriko.
Might be an EMP versus EMP if Yak can get his online, 25% away. Speedly on high ground. Easy setup. A lot of people, though, from the Gladiators are hiding away. Oh, Dante jumps in. Primal Rage. Antied and pulsed and slept. That's a lot of abilities to try and take down one man. Well, speaking of people dead, there goes Kaluj. 3-man EMP, though, and Hydron finishes the kill onto Bubble. Dante, again, goes in. Easily hacked or slept or naded. Yeah, it's rough out here if you're Dante.
Dante's in Frowny Town, but, you know, Dante is a very selfless player. If his team is cleaning up and his team is doing what they need to do, I'm sure he doesn't mind at all. But that was a rally and an EMP from the Toronto Defiant to keep holding on to that one. And now on the other hand, we have the EMP from Yaki. Once again, in the backline, Nano EMP!
Yeah, Nano Yaki, Nano EMP, okay. Kaluj actually gets nanoed just before the EMP came out, so they didn't end up losing it, but they lost their backline. Oh, Hydra! Oh my God! Yaki could have got headshot. Oh, Hydron! You can see Yaki. Yaki cannot believe what he just witnessed. Hydron with a couple of sicko shots there onto the front line of the Gladiators. Oh my word! Man can do it all.
Dude, Yaki just is in shock that he managed to hit that shot. He thought it was invincible after those first couple of dodges, but Hydron just being able to make that Widow switch, and that's going to be difficult to deal with right here as he gets Yaki again.
Oh my... How did he get him from that angle?
30 seconds.
I do not know.
Hydron can do anything at this point, I believe.
Yeah, the guy's a cracked hit scan player. His Sojourn showed up last year.
Yeah, made a name for himself in the Mayhem.
Yeah, really did. Such a strong asset to the Toronto Defiant. What can he make of this now? There's a rush on the high ground for the Gladiators. They are pushing on, and Kev's Pulse finds one. There's no sleep, no nade now for the Ana. It's Ultraviolet versus the Wild at this moment in time. Even a Suzu just to get the boot back. Oh no, though, Kalush to the rescue. Might have come just in time. He does. He gets Babel. Babel used the Suzu so selfishly on himself that he couldn't use it to heal. And with Dante and Babel dead, you've lost so much frontline. Now Hydron's pretty much free to do whatever he wants as he activates the sights. Overtime ticks down as now the Gladiators switch over to the Moira Lucio to get back in time. A nice hack onto the Tracer, but it wears off just in time for Kevster to recall. We're still with Hydron's sights. The Defiant know what's coming at him. There's the EMP. It hits 3 players. And that will make sure Gladiators cannot touch. A good hold from Toronto at the very end.
Yeah, Toronto showing signs of life with some individual brilliance from Hydron, but also just overall good team play. They were keeping their backline alive. Like, Ultraviolet lived forever in that small room, and that's just good peel from his teammates. Kalush coming through to sort of punish Babel for the aggressive play that he's been doing, and this is a very completable map for the Toronto Defiant, but you need to keep that going on the other half.
Map 5 in their sights. They want to go all the way. They want to take the series. We've got a replay, actually, of that 2K as well. Oh, man, it's so nice to see Widowmaker plays. I'm going to be real with you. Right, who's the first one? Jumps around the corner. Look, wait. Oh, my goodness. And then a quick flick. Yaki, I mean, you saw Yaki in the player cam. He turned around, like, headset flung off. Like, yeah, he did not have a good time in that moment. And Widow is a strong character, but at this level of play, like, sometimes you do expect Widows to kind of hit those shots. And especially someone like Hydron. It's going in the highlight reel, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, put that in the montage.
Yep, easy, easy. All right, Yaki knows where Hydron's at. No defensive Widowmaker here, so dude staring right at him.
Just okay.
Can you
imagine? Yaki would lose
the biggest troll of all time.
Dude, if Hydron hits this again on Yaki,
do it. Turn around. You see him grapple? He 180 grappled there. Yeah, he was
Yaki
going
would
for
have
that shot.
uninstalled. I think he would have uninstalled.
Oh, F4? He's out. Anyway, I'm going to play quick play.
Yeah.
I'm back into ranked.
Hydron is going to stick on this Widow, actually going over to the Ashe, which is an interesting choice. Maybe realizing that he's going to have too much pressure from the Kiriko, from the Sombra. But he wants that consistent range damage, doesn't want to play the Sombra.
All right, Hydron on the Ashe too. Spoke about it before, but a very defensive backline. So hack, you see that nade from downtown from Lashro?
Yeah, there was coordination
Very coordinated. They wanted the nade to go out, then the hack comes in, and then the dive from Dante. Looked pretty good, didn't quite execute as well as they wanted it to though. So they will forgo a lot of space. See how much healing Lashro is outputting right now. 70% almost towards a nano boost already.
This is chaos right now. Big sleep on speedily. Babel cleans it up as well, and you can see the value of like the Kiriko just keeping up Lashro from that dive. And Toronto Defiant unable to find the picks themselves. Sort of falling back, but there's one from Hydron.
All right, that's what you want to see. Babel is using these Suzus so early. They're very aggressive. And you can see there, as soon as they hear that Suzu noise goes off, that's your Ana's time to just throw that nade, hit the front line, and hopefully have everybody else clean up. That's what you got to coordinate with the rest of your team if you can.
Yaki EMP's coming up. He's at 95%. He might get this one in the middle of the fight.
Oh, good move. Very nice. I think it was a coach cut and a flail, actually, from OG and Hydron. And there's the sleep from Ultraviolet. This back line from Toronto Defiant looking so good. EMP, though, from Yaki is going to be on that point. Takes care of Speedly, but with Dante's Primal Rage forcing away Hydron, they've got no damage left. Although... Man, okay, Dante got booped away from by Kalush there with that Primal Rage. Couldn't get to the point in time, and that will be Toronto Defiant capping.
Yeah, great play by Kalush, and you called it out, Jack. Ultraviolet is just doing so much work right now on this Ana. Every time Dante tries to go aggressive, he's just getting slept, he's getting pushed around. OG with a great whip at the start of that fight as well. So Toronto Defiant with 4 minutes remaining, they're starting to find their footing and starting to get a little bit grounded. But Hydron's under so much pressure of this Ashe.
There goes the rally from OG. They're all grouped together too, so they can move as a unit, hopefully towards that payload. But the Gladiators are able to take high ground super early. Bob's been flung out, Ultraviolet under a lot of pressure, but OG's there to try and rescue him, and rescue him he does. And even with Hydron there too, if you get a couple of shots on the Tracer, or even a headshot, like that's going to kill her, or at least force the Tracer to recall. Oh, Babel's dead though.
Yeah, and Babel's starting to get punished right now, it feels like. You know, in earlier maps, it felt like he was just running around, doing whatever he wanted, especially on that King's Row. But now it feels like the Toronto Defiant have caught on. He's using those Suzus aggressively, and now he's potentially getting punished for it. Maybe has to rethink his aggression just a little bit. And that's a second point.
No touch, yeah. Wow, I thought maybe Yaki gets the touch there, and then Dante comes in, but I think Dante was a little bit too far away, so they'd rather reset, just get high ground real fast. Very quick play though by Toronto Defiant. Completely new game plan and very winnable.
Yeah, absolutely winnable from Defiant. If anything, if they don't cap this at this point, you'd be a little worried about what they can do. Dante does get nanoed. He's in the backline. OG's stuck in a corner.
Oh man, just punches his lights clean out, and that'll be a double kill for Dante on the nano. Even used that primal raise, so a couple of ults invested. I don't think it's
primal as well.
Oh my word, Hydron. Maybe a little quadra kill for Dante. Dantelius getting a quadra kill. Pulse bomb. Ooh, nice leap away. Incredible reaction time there from Dante, so he doesn't die to the AoE damage of Pulse.
Hydron over to that Sombra now, just not able to shoot enough, get into the open enough. No ultimates for the Defiant, but they do have the cart moving right now. Yaki with another EMP. He's been pretty effective with it so far, but the backline from the Defiant, they're just so far away in such a defensive position.
Oh, detected, they know. No shield packs available for Bring anymore, though. No stuns, so OG once again, his wallet stolen in an alleyway in Junkertown.
The coordination between Yaki and Dante, and Lastro as well, in these dives is some of the best that we've seen so far in this season. Just the timing of when the hack goes down, when the nade hits, Dante is landing, and OG really has no way to react to that.
Babo was just permanently playing on the off angle.
Yeah, just Kiriko things.
Just Kiriko things. How's that rush? So this is a good spot to rush into. Wow. Jeez, this dive from the Gladiators just perfect. You're in the old spot. They are pushing though. Yeah. I mean, that music is signaling someone's pushing the payload near that golden box of victory, but it's all good because Kepster and Yaki were able to touch, and it was, I think it was only Hydron pushing anyway, so not too much to worry about. But it still puts a lot of pressure on the Gladiators there, even pushing at the payload a little bit like that.
Yeah. But the ultimates are starting to come up for Toronto. Hydron does get slept in the follow-ups there. That's another reset, and every time they get these picks, time starts to dwindle. As much as they only need one team fight, Gladiators gets low, but yeah, what a Suzu coming out from Babel, keeping him alive once again, hits the dink onto OG. Wow.
The backline for the Gladiator, in fact, both backlines right now just performing wonders for their respective team. All right, dude, there's 5 ults.
Yeah.
Like, there's 4 ults on the other side.
It's going to be a big ult fight, and it's going to be important to see how these come out. Is Hydron going to use this reactively? Especially because of how good these Gladiators dives have been. It feels like Yaki and Dante are on the same line. You could do that defensively and counter what they're trying to do. EMP goes out from Yaki.
EMP was really good. No, another EMP from Yaki. What? Okay. I mean, Hydron just clears, just absolutely clears the entirety of the Gladiators there. There's a primal rage for the Dantelius, but look at that, OG's already dead. Great, but you need to touch.
He's coming back.
Luckily gets there just in time with 2 meters to go. Lastro available, puts the nano onto Dante, and they're gonna be able to push. No win just yet for Defiant. Dante bonks his little head, and somehow, some way, even after that enormous EMP from Hydron, they managed to hold on. A minute to go now, Scott.
That's on Dante. He was able to find and clear up the Toronto Defiant backline, but they're not done.
Nano boost straight onto the Winston. Where's Kalush going? Straight to Babel, but no, another nice sleep from Lastro. Babel does get finished up, and oh no, Suzu, no TP, no heals now
no backline
available for the Gladiators. There's 0 backline. trying to check the Defiant. This looks too winnable now. Toronto with a double kill on the back line, and that will signal a map number 4. Toronto Defiant are still in it to win it. They performed just so expertly on, like, the dives are really good for the Gladiators, yes, but the ability for the Toronto Defiant to just get back in, Hydron finding picks on the Widowmaker, or even just setting up hacks again, big EMPs. Amazing stuff. We thought the series was going to be close. It's really, really showing up for us now.
And I think you saw a change in the way the Toronto Defiant were trying to do their dive. They want to go first, force Babel to help Lastro. That will remove tools that they have on their own aggression, because if you allow them to go first, dictate, they're going to get value from that Suzu, they're going to get value from that Kiriko. So some good adjustments from Toronto Defiant. Take down this map, and we said it earlier, the reverse sweep starts now.
It does indeed. We're going to jump to a quick break though. Esperanza is going to be our next map, and then maybe Nepal if Toronto can take it all the way. We're going to be right back after this.
like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the. Wake up, get out the sheets. We came for one, man, forget my peace. You take the west, I'll take on the east. I'ma put them in the cage, never let out the. I am trapped in the noise. Can't stop for the talking. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch me, I'm please caution.
Welcome back. Toronto Defiant want to make it to a map number 5 after Glads took the first and second map of the series. Junkertown was theirs though. We're about to go to Esperanza as our next map, Scott. So pretty close affair thus far.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one because we've seen the Gladiators feel like they're in control, but something feel like it flicked at the end there for the Toronto Defiant, and that was a blistering pace that they put there on Junkertown, and honestly, Hydron really felt like the difference.
Dude, he was the difference maker, man. Like, getting on that Widowmaker, getting that nice little 2 pace. He's feeling himself too. When the Widowmaker or the DPS player's on a hot streak, you get a couple of nice kills, you're like, okay, I'm in it, bro. I'm in it.
I'm unstoppable.
Exactly, right? You do really feel invincible, and sometimes that confidence seeps into the rest of your team and the environment too. It's like, well, if I'm unstoppable, so are you. And then his Sombra play at the very end really sealed the deal for them. They managed to get a big EMP, and that was it, really. There was a lot of good plays from Lastro, though, in the backline of the LA Gladiators, but it just didn't end up working out. Yes, you're able to subdue Kalush, but you couldn't quite finish them off at the very end. It will be a substitution, though, for Gladiators. We've got Babel out, Astro in.
Yeah, and that, you know, obviously Babel was doing a lot of work, getting a lot of final blows, but on maps like Push and Control, we always expect Funny Astro to come in. He's that Lucio guy, but talking about those guys, we got Kalush versus Dante, Winston head-to-head on Junkertown. And honestly, very similar across the board. Obviously, Dante getting more damage and final blows, but I would say that's probably based around the style that they're playing, right? They're diving a brig, they're having that effectiveness, while it felt like the Gladiators are playing that Kiriko, which is very slippery to deal with as Kalush.
Yeah, it's... You say slippery, though. I felt like Barlow was getting kind of checked at the very end.
Yeah.
He was playing very aggressive on the off angles, trying to do damage, trying to set up picks for his team. You caught out his damage stat. It was pretty decent for a Kiriko. You expect him to hit a lot of headshots, but Barlow was doing a lot.
Yeah.
However, what you'll see just there, he was using a lot of abilities fairly selfishly. He was using the Suzu on himself to keep him alive, maybe in for a couple of seconds, for some other cooldowns, and then you don't have that left. If you TP away, someone like Kalush is going to follow up.
And that's what Kalush was doing towards that end. As you said, he uses that Suzu personally, which that's fine for him, but then if Lastro gets dove, he doesn't have any assistance, and I think that's really working against them. So I don't think it's a bad play at all by the Gladiators, and it was very successful for them, but Toronto really sort of catching on to what was going on there. But we move on to Esperanza, a different map. We have seen a lot of Winston being played, but go all the way back to map 1, Jack. Remember, the Junker Queen was working very well for the Gladiators against the Winston style of the Defiant.
It was working extremely well. And with Astro, you're expecting Lucio, of course. I don't think Astro's really into playing anything else. He's played a little Brig in his time. A little Brig.
Loves a little bit of Brig.
A little bit of Brig. Yeah. I mean, I think he'd rather play Lucio though. Yeah. He just wants to dive into the backline and kill people.
Well, it's what he's been known for. Funny Astro has had some historic moments on the Lucio in big matches, really clutching it out. He's such an important player for this Gladiators squad, always in the wings.
Feels like every team, especially coming into this year, it's like, okay, a lot of teams are going to get 3 supports, so you can have that double flex, and then you can have a main support, or like basically a Lucio player.
Kind of a Lucio player, yeah.
Just a Lucio player, right? And I think Gladiators have rounded out their team very well. In that regard.
3, 2, 1.
Surprisingly, coming out of the spawn doors, Defiant may be seeing this one coming, opting for the Junker Queen themselves. The Junker Queen mirror is something that we've seen bits and pieces. The only major difference is Yaki on this Reaper, Hydron on the Sombra. We've seen the value of the Reaper, but we've also seen it fall flat, and the value of the EMP is just so big, right? Like, EMPs are team fight defining ultimates.
Yeah, and farming EMP should be pretty easy too. When you think about it, there's not a shield really for anybody to hide behind, so you're just permanently doing damage, even if it's just to the Junker Queen. But in the neutral, I mean, the Reaper just kind of clears. And so does Kevster. Hydron's been found out. Big axe swing for Dante, giving Kalush a little bit of a haircut there. Now is WM1, my favorite style of gameplay.
Just running it down, and that first pick by Kevster really just opened everything up, and The Gladiators are able to go quickly, but Hydron switching over to the Sojin, now seeing these matchups, not really agreeing with his ability to do anything as Sombra. I wonder if he's just worried about getting run down in the exact way that he just was, but we did see Sojin from Birdering to minimal success on Esperanza just earlier.
Yeah, it's just really not enough time, especially how fast these comps are playing, though. We'll see if it can find value. Of course, mentioned before, but what he made his namesake on. Oh, Astro! Yeah. Yo, what's up? Okay, well, Hydron's dead. There you go. It's as soon as you use that dash,
nice.
Really tough to get away from the rest of the team. Nice pulse bomb from Kev too.
Kev's just kind of got that look in his eye right now. I'm a little afraid for the Toronto Defiant. He's already got 6 final blows, in this map. He is just going absolutely crazy, and Speedily has not been able to check him just yet. And that's a fast point cap. That's 2 minutes in the first point capture for the Gladiators.
Yeah, that is not looking great. But Esperanza, a bit of a fickle map.
Yeah, true.
Saw it in the last series, pretty back and forth. Now, do we see Lastro and Astro just lay down the road and then use the beat to counter the Kaluge ult, which he doesn't really have yet. He's 20% away. They gotta know he hasn't got anything. There's the rush for both teams. Yaki's in trouble though. Has to burn that Wraith form pretty early. Both beats to match as Dante used that Rampage through the team. Yeah, there's a lot of ultimates going off right now, but not a lot of kills. Finally, Kaluge gets taken out. Just so many people splitting up. I mean, Overwatch is a pretty chaotic game, but when you throw in 2 beats, two Kitsune rushes, a Death Blossom, and then everything else, it gets a little bit more confusing, especially in the comms too. Like, you're trying to focus someone down, but
yeah,
it's rough. It's rough out there.
The Gladiators did a great job. They recognized the isolatable target was Kaluge, take him down, and from there, the Defiant just don't have the legs to go through. But fortunately for them, they didn't use many ults. Here comes the overclock from Hydron, unable to find anything just now.
Hit the bot, I think. Looked like he did damage to himself there. Nice headshot onto Dante, takes him low, but a shout and then an amp speed boost from Astro, and Dante just clears them of any danger. Actually, a shout there from Dante, I think that was. He actually shouted the pulse bomb just to make sure he survived it. I think the pulse bomb maybe laid next to him, didn't get a stick, but...
Yeah, Gladiators just getting so low, just didn't want to take that fight, but now they come back in.
Rampage hits 2, Kevster, Dante in trouble. Kevster throws out the pulse, doesn't get anything as Kaluge takes him out just with the bleed. Nice axe swing as well from Kaluge. I mean, that is a satisfying ability to hit when it's on multiple people too. It does a whole lot of damage.
Chunky comeback from there, from Kaluge, and now the bot is moving for them in the right direction. Yaki's moving over to the Tracer. Kevster onto the Sojin as well. This is something that we saw bits and pieces from him in the playoffs to varied success, but I'm surprised that they felt like they needed to mirror this Sojin, maybe wanting some more consistent damage, not really just having to go in every single time.
There's the shout, there's the rush. That's a very defensive looking rush, but it's enough to kill Kaluge. Kaluge was trying to square up to Dante, but Dante brought his boys for the backup.
Yeah, power of friendship wasn't there for the Toronto Defiant on that one. He was kind of left on an island like, good luck, Kaluge.
Yeah.
Wish you luck, buddy.
It's kind of rough. I mean, now the issue is for Toronto Defiant, they've lost the point, and now Gladiators also get forward spawn. A bit easier for them to come back in these fights. You're looking at a rush available for Toronto Defiant. Very nice map, kind of like topography to use it on, to be fair. Like, a lot of straight lines, so gets a lot of value. Dante's waiting though. Oh, wow. Lastro just goes down to just a railgun shot. That knife from Dante missing, and now without any heals is just trying to get trade kills, just trying to force ults, which is rather unlikely in a team as disciplined as the Toronto Defiant. So yeah, they're going to wander into this next fight with 5 ults.
Hydron just finding a pick, what feels like out of thin air, just Lastro just taking too much damage and the rail finishes him off, and that's such an important team fight for them because it didn't cost them anything to win either. So now all of a sudden they have this positioning on the high ground. You can see the Gladiators coming through this middle section to meet them. Lots of ults
That's
coming.
a Rampage. Instantly Suzu though, there's no antis anywhere. There's a lot of green health bars though, as both Lucio's use the beat. Now Hydron, he's got the rail gun. He's on the high ground, and the Gladiators are nowhere to be found. Oh, Kev's there. Oh, they're all underground. That's where they are. Just hiding like little moles in the underground. Now Kaluge can set up for a Rampage of his own. Dante's already taken down Hydron though. They're finding picks before they can use ults. There is a Rampage, but it only lands onto Yaki. Hits the recall and he's good, Scott.
Kessa overclock is finding some value, but it does get taken down by Ultraviolet, but that should just be it for that team fight for the Defiant. That was a big one as well. Big ultimate fights, and the Gladiators just hold on. So now, how do you come back if you're the Defiant? It's going to take a while to get these ultimates back up, while Lastro is still holding on to that Kitsune rush. Maybe some heroics from Hydron will be required for the Defiant.
Heroics from Hydron.
We've seen it time and time again.
Yeah, good segment too. Heroics from Hydron. All right, rush versus not much. Very slow, methodical. Gladiators are playing right now. Don't want to overextend too much. Burning the time bank down would be nice. Almost like, again, they're kind of baiting them in, but...
Yeah, they want them to get close.
They use that shout. Okay, they use the shout, that being Toronto Defiant, so now they're backing up. Now the Gladiators are piling on that pressure.
There it goes.
There it comes out. But Hydron, yet again, finding a support in the backline with just a cheeky rail. And another one? No overclock necessary for Hydron. The heroics really coming forward now. Dante does take care of Kalush, so little frontline left for Toronto Defiant, so they're going to have to come up with something more. A pulse bomb and a kunai thrown out to kill Yaki, but that's it. I mean, yeah, you killed the enemy tank, but Hydron's still alive and he's still doing damage.
Himdron really is the person for Toronto Defiant, who is just making these big plays. It's not the macro that's pulling Defiant back. It is literally just Hydron hitting these shots, really opening the fights up. Once again, Defiant are coming back up to these ultimates. They need to find a way to win this fight. Every time we get back to this bridge, they fall short.
Rampage available for Dante. Double support ultimate for Toronto Defiant. Yeah, look at this, backing off. Very scared to actually engage. No just random engagements from either side. Maybe wait for Hydron to again find a pick. He's been consistent with it thus far. Ultraviolet's job right now, save that Suzu. Dante's got the ult, but another amazing Suzu from Ultraviolet of removing that Junker Queen ability, basically. OG still ends up going down, still does damage, even without the bleed, and Kevster with the overclock has now found his way into the backline. Astro's helping him finish kills off. He does end up getting killed, but all good. Gladiators in control. 2 minutes to go. And that will be another repeat.
An Ajax.
Little Ajax, maybe? Oh, OG. He gets Suzu too?
Yeah, he's good.
Look at his health bar. He's so low.
He got caught on the roof.
The awning. You can't be up there. It is a sliding roof. That is rough.
Honestly, great play by the Gladiators. He got put into the air, he drops that beat, and they just jumped on him. That was such an important play by the Gladiators because Defiant just didn't have the health to be able to live through that fight. Hydron with an overclock. I feel like I have to just keep saying this guy's name. He needs to do it. Big pulse bomb. Forces out the shout.
Forces shout. Now that overhealth disappearing, it's time for Hydron to come online. He's got the overclock, but has to actually contend with this road here, this rush. Oh, Astro's taking him to town there. Oh my word, see those moves from the guy? Jeez. That rush, though, is too strong. The Gladiators just kind of hung around the rush, just refreshing their cooldowns. The rest of Toronto Defiant knew Hydron was going in, but couldn't follow up with any meaningful damage and heals to keep them in the fight. 48 seconds to go, Scott. Final fight here.
Yeah, and OG's just getting caught out at the start of fights. Just headshots, Ajaxes, just pulse bombs. He's just really struggling to just stay alive, and that's the story for this entire Toronto Defiant roster. With only 30 seconds remaining, they're at their door. They need to start finding some momentum.
Need to climb that mountain. Hydron again, finding a pick. Kevster dead. 4v5 on the point. Gladiators don't really need to fight this. They've still got a couple of fights in them, but they just kind of tussle out here. Maybe try and force some abilities, get some late kills. Could be good, but Toronto Defiant, too coordinated for that to happen. They will wipe them, but now we're in OT. They get off the bot, they lose.
Yeah, and this has really been the pain point for the Defiant. It feels like every time Gladiators come here, they will have that forward spawn.
And they have to get checkpoint.
Oh no, they didn't have the forward spawn for Dante and Funny Astro. They have to get the checkpoint. They have to win at least 2 team fights to win this one, Jack.
The checkpoint stalls them out for even longer. They have to be perfect to keep them in.
Dante's the Rampage flank.
The Rampage? Wait, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where does his Rampage go? I guess it got Suzu or it hit nobody. Pulse bomb, he's dragged back in. They trade. OG for Dante. I'd take that if I were the Defiant because you've still got the rush. But a Yaki pulse bomb is going to signal Kalush's death. Ultraviolet, wondering where his team is gone, is now has to chew through an overshield from the sound barrier. Oh boy. Kevster, he's got the overclock, and this should just be it. Ultraviolet, sentenced to death. Overtime ticks down, and the Gladiators will take the series 3-1.
Yaki just with some big picks time and time again, just finding players. Even though Dante goes for a questionable rampage to enter that fight, does get himself a little bit isolated. The rest of the Gladiators are there to support him, and that's the thing that I feel really encapsulates the Gladiators in this match. As much as individual brilliance happened, their coordination and working off of each other was really the strength that got them over the line.
It really was. You see Face and Hunter and the rest of the boys coming in. High fives, hugs all around. Good game. Very, very close. As much as it was a 3-1, still looking good. Toronto Defiant not looking nice, but Gladiators just came out on top. Like you said, Yaki was doing Lord's work at the very end.
Yeah.
A lot of pickoffs on the Tracer. They shut down Hydron, who was really the difference maker for the Toronto Defiant. And as soon as you kind of erase him, the rest of the team, they do lack a little bit of that frontwards damage. No overclock, no railgun one-shots. Like, it's really rough. A lot of good plays all around from both sides, but the Gladiators will come out on top today.
And it's funny because we talked about why did they sign Yaki? They have Kevster.
Yeah.
You know, who's going to play Tracer? The answer is both of them. Both of them are going to play Tracer, and they're both going to be incredible at it. And that gives flexibility to Kevster to play these other things. Same with Yaki to play that Sombra. So such good looks from the Gladiators early on.
Yeah, looking good to start the season off. They are 1-1 now. Yeah, they got off that 0-1 scoreline. They beat the Allegations. Now, player of the match. I think yeah, come on.
It has to be.
It has to be Lastro. The sleeps, the nades, played a little bit Kiriko at the start as well. Looked so good. He was winning team fights for them just on nades, just on sleeps. And the amount of times he was like shutting down Kaluj, couldn't really do much. Like, that's the power of a very, very good flex support. Just even like setting up these kind of nades for his team. And you mentioned it during the series, the hacks with the nades, with the diving from Dante, just so telegraphed.
And it's just, how do you even deal with it? You know it's coming, but it's just so hard to stop. And Lastro, I've heard multiple people say it. I think Jake said it himself. Lastro mechanically is just an insane player, and he has that flexibility. He plays a little bit of Lucio. He's played the Brig, but just look at that. Sleep dart accuracy, 57% is very high.
Pretty nasty, yeah. Sleeps on Tracers too, right? I mean, sleeping on small targets, Tracers, Sombras, everything. He's got it in him. Bionic Grenade killed 4 per 10 too. That's also pretty high. Low deaths, nice healing, nice damage. Great. I mean, Lastro's looking good. The Gladiators too, off to a decent start. Now 1-1 in the standings. Toronto Defiant, not so lucky though. 0 and 2. Two of the toughest opponents. Yes, exactly.
2 hard matches. And that's the thing, Toronto Defiant, there's a silver lining there. As much as you are 0-2, they played very well against both the San Francisco Shock and the Los Angeles Gladiators. They aren't a team to be trifled with, but I'm sure they would have liked to get one of those wins under their belt.
Yeah. What do the desk have to say, though? Because they were split, and Danny, you changed the pred. Jake sold you on it somehow.
Danny. I'm sorry.
That's
Danny has been horribly misled by Jake, and I mean, I understand you could sell vacuum cleaners and whatnot. Good salesman there. Danny fell for it, unfortunately. Misguided right there.
Yeah, the best part was that Jake was so proud of himself for selling it. Just like, I'm a salesman. I am so good at selling stuff. Nothing at all.
What of a salesman? I can even sell a bad product. It's all right. It's okay. I learned my lesson. You know, everyone learns their lessons. I learned my lesson today to never trust Jake ever again. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't Jake, like Costa would have given you the same vibes too, right? Like Costa,
probably he went.
Costa would have
nodding at me.
Yeah. So, you know, whoever we have here, apparently you just don't listen to them. Listen to us. Reinforce the narrative.
No, I'm going to listen to my heart from now on.
Or to
you guys,
me.
I'm happy to be wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. To see Gladiators come out and put out a great performance. Last year getting player of the match, Dante showing a lot more flexibility, I think, in this series, playing more to his strengths. I wasn't actually expecting that from Gladiators. I thought they'd kind of try to stick with the Winston meta, you know, force it all the way. But they looked really great, especially with these Queen compositions coming out.
Yeah, I mean, not even that. I think individually, all of the Gladiators players, you know, they look great. But I think on top of that, they were just a better team overall. I think we were going into the match, we were questioning, you know, can Gladiators really pull out a good dive? And I think this match, they looked really good on the dive competition as well. Not only that, just overall, I think they just had really great coordination overall. And it was just, you know, it was a well-deserved win for the Los Angeles Gladiators.
Yeah, I feel like it was such a classic Gladiators win because some people look at this roster and they go like, well, you know, compared to Houston Outlaw, compared to Florida Mayhem, like, I don't know if I trust this Gladiators team. But the coaching philosophy of the Gladiators always to be aggressive and to make it difficult for your opponent. So Toronto Defiant, they come in there and they say, okay, let's brawl it out in a Winston mirror. And Dante's like, no, I'm gonna play some Junker Queen here. And then they go to Junkertown and Toronto's like, well, we play Sigma on Junkertown, right? Gladiators like, no, we're gonna play some Winston. You guys are good, we're playing some Winston. So Gladiators always forcing Toronto to adapt to what they got in store and then just push the pace. Kevster on the Tracer, Yaki coming in. Yeah, Yaki coming in, playing a lot of Sombra here. Just throwing Toronto off their game. So a very classic Gladiators win with that in part.
Yeah, and it just goes to show that they came into this with a game plan. They knew exactly what they want to play, on which map, and which players are subbing in for that. And that is worth a lot. They definitely managed to throw Toronto Defiant off of their game, and they snagged that victory, and that means that I currently am leading in Preds, 0 wrong takes.
I'm second.
Am I last?
Woo. Yes.
I think I'm hurting you in last.
Yeah.
Maybe?
No, I think Danny's last. I think you won it.
I'm first runner-up loser.
Wait,
first runner-up
do we have the same score?
No.
I don't know.
No, I think you're behind him. That's all right. The important news here, there's two things that are very important to me. One is that we have a winner's interview ready with no other than our beloved Dante. And also that Jake betrayed him because Jake did not think that the Gladiators were going to take that.
No way.
I know.
Jake's been saying that you guys are super close. You guys are like good friends, but he didn't predict the Gladiators. He didn't believe in the Gladiators.
Yeah.
I was impressed by the new look, though. I wasn't ready for what you guys were bringing out, and I was happy to be wrong. You guys brought new looks. I think other teams weren't ready for it. I think Toronto Defiant weren't ready for it. I wasn't ready for it, so I'm happy to be wrong. Happy to see you guys take the dub.
But I mean, it was a well-deserved victory for the Gladiators. You guys look clean. I mean, I want to ask you about the Junker Queen competition briefly. I feel like we've seen a couple other teams throughout the week utilize that Junker Queen comp, especially against a Winston dive competition. Like, do you, Dante, believe that Junker Queen comp to be sort of a counter to the Winston dive?
I think there's maps where Queen good, and against like certain matchups, it can be really good. I was actually onto this like a month ago. I was cooking in the Pro-Am. It didn't actually cook well there, but it seems a lot better now, like with the recent changes.
It just needed more time to simmer, more time on the stove.
Yeah,
understandable. Well, Dante, you know, I'm just wondering how you doing, man. How you feeling now that we're in LA? Like, when are we gonna hang out? That's my interview question.
Not anymore, because you didn't pred them.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Friendship ended.
Sorry, our friendship's over now, guys. That's how it goes. Well, no, I genuinely don't even have a question. What are we hanging out, bro?
Yeah, we're going for oysters, Dante.
Yeah,
let's go. Oysters, Dante. Come on.
Yeah, I love some oysters. But yeah, I'm doing great. I'm really happy we got to like showcase like good day. I feel like we were just really sloppy yesterday, and it wasn't like a good. It wasn't how we should play, and like it's not how we normally play. But I think we did a good job today, like showcasing like how we actually play.
Yeah, one match at a time. We got the dub today. That's what matters. So, Dante, of course, you came out in the playoffs last year, really playing Winston at a high level. You got third in the playoffs, of course. Now going into the sort of like the second season here, adjusting to the Winston play. What is something you've been working on when it comes to your Winston gameplay in the off season here to really improve and up your game?
Just everything. Winston, I felt like a lot of the comps last year, I felt like were easier to play because it was just a mirror match. You just had to learn how to play against one comp. But this year, everyone plays a different comp on every map, and then like we're constantly changing our comps. So it's like a lot to catch up on. Where like these people have been playing these comps for like 5 years. Like these tank players have so much experience. So it's like a big game of catch up.
But you've been doing absolutely fantastic. We love to see the versatility that you and the team brought, and we can't wait to see more. One last question here on the desk. Obviously, at the end of the week, we kind of, take a stroll down memory lane and think about the highlights, lowlights, big surprises of the week. Looking at the teams, the players, the gameplay, did anything stand out in week one to you?
I feel like most of the matches were pretty as expected. I think the meta being really diverse is cool. There's a lot more comps being played than the Pro-Am. I felt like Pro-Am was like mostly just Kree comp, but there's so many comps now. So I think that's cool.
Yeah, we love the versatility there. Dante, thank you so much for joining us for a quick chat. Of course, you can always come here, hang out with us, have some oysters with all of us, except from Jake, obviously, because you guys are not.
Guys. Can you someday he'll forgive me, you guys.
One day. Today is not the day. Dante, thank you so much for joining. Congrats once again.
Right, thanks for having me. See you guys.
Of course. Right. Always great to hear from him. Can't believe you betrayed him like that, though.
You guys, you're so hard.
And last row.
You're so
and
hard.
I'm
happy for them. I'm happy to be wrong, guys. I can own that. I was wrong. I made a mistake. It won't happen again.
Danny, though. What
Danny,
the fuck? No, I'm kidding.
I hate you, Jake.
Let's take a quick look at the scores today. As he should be. You got the Preds on the line. Let's take a look at the scores of today to see exactly where they went wrong. Here are the results. Vegas Eternal, they took the L against the Florida Mayhem. Afterwards, London Spitfire put up a really decent fight against the Boston Uprising that did shoot back. Toronto Defiant, unfortunately, fell to the LA Gladiators, and they're going 0-2. But definitely a lot of bright spots on that Toronto Defiant roster. We want to see more of that. It's unfortunate that they'll have a very hard strength of schedule, but you know, seasons long, many more games to come, many more things to look forward to. Now, looking forward to stuff is one thing, but we want to look back and, you know, it's new season, new format, new teams, new players, so many new things, lots of different flavors. So we want to take a look at our flavors of the week, starting with you, Danny.
All right, I mean, I'm feeling a little bit down right now because I got my Preds wrong. I'm on the bottom of the Preds list, but
very bottom, yeah.
It's fine. My flavor of the week is gonna pick me up right to the top, I guess, because it's gonna make me very happy. Just roll the clip, please.
What's going on here? Goodness
I think we know what we're talking about. My flavor of the week. My flavor of the week has to be DJ Gunt's reaction after he just carried his team to victory. This guy's just going crazy. His eyes are flipping, you know.
He was owning with the IMAX, you know,
Yeah.
get the big shield out, just flailing.
You know, that's the life of an Ono player. Izyaki's like, yeah, I just healed you for about $1 million, bro. But you know, it's cool. Whatever. You take all the credit.
I did so much with the flail.
I like that reaction, though. I love player cams, always my favorite thing, and having such a visceral reaction to something that happened. I mean, Lee Gun, EXE, that stopped working that moment. Absolutely.
Beep boop, no.
He's like,
critical error.
Big feelings, can't handle what to do. Jake, we had a lot of big feelings as well when we were watching this match, not just because you were absolutely awfully wrong, but also because we got to see...
okay.
Come on!
We got to see a really interesting kind of, not shift in the meta, but maybe a potential kind of shift, a potential counter to what we're seeing from those Winston dives.
Yeah, and I'd love to break it down for you guys. Let me take you on a little journey here as we break down the Gladiators utilizing this Junker Queen and Reaper composition here. So really, it's this overall strategy, right? Bringing out the Soldier is part of it, but really I want to focus your attention here on the Reaper and the Junker Queen because, you know, this Winston, he does look strong in the meta, right? He is so mobile, he can catch up to people, but when you're jumping into a Reaper and a Junker Queen, sometimes that's a dive you want to get out of really quickly, and it can be really big trouble. So we could just roll the clip right here, just a little bit. So we're gonna see Kaluj jumping in on top of Dante and the Reaper, but instantly the Defianters push back and can pause it right here. And so what we're gonna see, the next aspect of this combo that's so crucial is that Reaper acts as really a secondary frontliner in this comp, right? We know Junker Queen, yeah, she's a tank. She's going to be up front. Like, that's as expected. But Reaper is pretty unique in that he can also, as a solo DPS, bully the Winston away. And so we are going to see Yaki pathing this direction. He's going to eventually chase down and shove Kaluj completely out of the fight, deny him any kind of impact. And at the same time, Dante is going to go this way, track down OG. So they're able to split their team comp and chase down two different fronts at the same time, which is pretty unique against a Winston, a hero that is typically pretty hard to fight in a one-on-one. So we could just roll the clip really quick. And so here we see Yaki just, I mean, you see Kalush, he knows he can't win this fight. He's just instantly running away. And in the meantime, here's Dante chasing down, cutting OG. And now both of them are just happy to run down this Winston in the spawn and even get that pick right at the spawn door. So they're really just showing exactly how oppressive that these two heroes can be in tandem, that Reaper and Queen. You know, they have the potential to fight off a Winston. I do think Winston's still a strong choice. A lot of maps, it's going to be hard to get to the close range that you really need to be at to execute Reaper and Queen. But really, I think this is something you can use at home in your pubs if you're struggling with Winston.
Professor, question?
Yes.
I mean, every comp needs a good name. What is this comp going to be named?
This is not my wheelhouse, you guys.
Or run it down, because they're just running.
It is a run it down.
Run it down. Yeah.
Run it down. I mean, Reaper and Queen.
It's a bad name, but
that's a horrible name. Yeah.
It's really.
So you do one then, Zoe.
No,
you come up with a name.
No, you need some time. Like next week.
We need to get chat's ideas. Attack us on Twitter, man. Let us know. What are we gonna call this? Bringing out Reaper Queen to counter the monkey. You know what? How can we call that interaction? I'm no expert for this. I'm not good with words.
Let chat cook.
Yeah, we need chat to cook. We need the power of the internet to cook for us.
Right
All I can tell you is that it's a pretty strong counter in the game.
We need some Riz.
And we, I don't know if that was the right.
Danny, I don't think that's the correct usage.
No,
I got some Zoomers in the chat with a problem.
That was close.
Ish, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
Probably not.
That's true. Probably not.
Reavers, we're talking flavors. What you got for us? Something spicy, something sweet?
Well, okay, so, you know, I wouldn't say that this is necessarily like vanilla or chocolate when it comes to flavors, especially if we're talking like ice cream flavors. But some people, they like, you know, some mint ice cream or something. A little bit more unique, a little bit more, you know, an orthodox ice cream flavor. So we saw tons of Sombra this week, guys. Typically, we don't see a ton of Sombra being played, right? It's a hero that sometimes goes into the meta, comes out of the meta. So here you see the list of the players that play the most Sombra. No surprise at all that Lip, you know, is number 1 at the leaderboard. 57 minutes of Sombra. Happy as well, number 2. So Atlanta Reign and Houston Outlaws, 2 really good teams. They're utilizing Sombra to the fullest. And so I found this really interesting, that we're seeing so much Sombra. Now, part of this, of course, is because of Cassidy's health change that reduces Cassidy's health from 225 to 200. That is really going to help pulling off these Sombra dives and seeing, I mean, beating down Torbjorns, I suppose. But but Sombra has really found its way into the meta here at week 1 of the 2023 season. And usually we get about, you know, a couple of months of Sombra before she usually goes out of the meta. So if, I don't know where I'm going with this ice cream thing, but if you like mint ice cream, like Sombra comes, then enjoy it for now. Enjoy it before it's gone and it melts away, because Sombra is usually not here to last.
Technology work, Dash. No, I like it. Seasonal flavor, you know. Lava. Yeah, that's what happens.
Gonna melt your ice cream. If you like Sombra, you're about to get your ice cream melted by Torb. He's coming for you.
Put it on a t-shirt. Sounds great.
Ice cream's actually
Torb meta? I'm down for Torb meta.
All right.
I don't think we've ever had like a proper Torb meta.
No one is gonna complain if we get a Torb meta. Like,
come on.
That is, we're waiting. Devs, we need some Torb buffs. Out of control Torb buffs.
Out of control Torb buffs. Yeah, we're ready for it. Now, one thing I wasn't ready for, of course, was to get chat involved, like actively involved in our Employee of the Month segment. But I want to thank everyone out there who has been voting here in the opening weekend. It's been a pleasure to be back with all of you. Get into the swing of all things OWL. So before we sign off, we're going to show you your pick for the first 2023 OWL Employee of the Month. Drum roll. And it is Shu. He won with 14,000 votes. What a fan base.
Wow.
What a gamer. I can't believe that he won it.
Music is incredible.
I mean,
very epic. Is that what they're playing for an Employee of the Month?
Yeah, I guess so.
Walking out of Target like
champion.
I did it.
He deserves it.
He does. I mean, that was the obvious one, right? Because just based on gameplay.
Right.
But
you guys are boring.
That's what I like to see.
You guys are boring.
That's what I like to see.
All right, fair.
Okay.
He got his employee.
Wow.
I'm sure this means an awful lot to him.
Well, we actually have a winner's interview. Ready for this? We got Shu on the line.
He will not be joining us. He will enjoy this in silence somewhere in a room, but we will let him know.
You know what? I'll take this as my. Can we count this in the predictions? Plus
no. What? Totally different.
That's
no. Why not?
Absolutely not.
I could use the help. All right.
Oh,
That's desperate.
desperate. I am
desperate, and it's not a good look, Jake. But yeah, Shu, that is our winner. It's your winner, and each month we will be adding a new member to this board as we progress through what is sure to be a very memorable season. Now, if you can't get enough of competitive Overwatch action, don't worry. All you have to do is tune in tomorrow to see the East contenders face off for their right to advance to play the Eastern Owl teams. Check out overwatchleague.com/path2pro for the times and that, so you don't miss a beat. Now, here in the West, of course, we will be back on Friday, May 5th, for week 2 of our spring qualifiers. And finally, for those of you who want to dive into the competitive yourself, well, got the thing for you there as well. And of course, I'm talking about Calling All Heroes. In case you missed it, this week we announced lots of updates regarding our speaker series as well as the challenger series. And in case you missed any of that, feel free to head on over to callingallheroes.gg for more information. There you can find out how you can sign up to the tournaments, how you can join the Discord community. All things good, Calling All Heroes, a program which we all really, really love and have enjoyed already last year.
Yeah, it's not just a tournament. Right? It's a community, and it's an opportunity for players of Overwatch to take part in something larger than just queuing into ranked and, you know, sometimes winning, sometimes losing. It's your opportunity to meet new friends.
Johnny, ranked is all I have, all right? Don't take this away.
It doesn't have to be. It could also be Calling All Heroes.
Wow. I'm buying it. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. This was it for week number 1 here on the Watchpoint Desk. Week 1 of many more to come. And I am just so excited because it's been a phenomenal week with phenomenal Overwatch. We thank all of you so much for watching. We will be back, of course, again next Friday. Same place, same time. Make sure
in the studio again?
In the studio again. Let's roll it back.
We get to keep
right here.
Right here.
Bye-bye.
See you next week.
See you tomorrow.